some of the best food in the entire world. But it also has a lot of restaurants that look amazing, but are kind of blah. If you've been to Italy before, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. You're in a gorgeous piazza, they have cute little tables, they probably even have a waiter who's dressed in a tie saying, "Ciao bella, vieni qua a mangiare." And then you order your food and you get what looks like microwave gnocchi for 22 euros. If you want to avoid the tourist traps on your trip to Italy and be able to identify between tourist traps and authentic local spots on your trip, then you are in the right place. I'm going to tell you what to look out for as far as red flags and what to look out for as far as green flags when finding a place to eat on your trip to Italy. So this is how you can find the good spots to eat in any Italian city. Ciao guys, and welcome back to another video, or welcome if you are new here. I'm Sammy. I've been living here in Rome, Italy for the last 8 years, and I share Italy tips that don't suck so that you can make the best of your time in the most beautiful country in the world. First things first, let's talk about what you absolutely need to avoid when you are going to Italy. These are the red flags that as soon as you see them, walk in the other direction. Number one is menus with pictures on them. I can guarantee you that not a single traditional Italian restaurant is going to have photos of the food on the menu. Number two is if the menu comes in more than just Italian and English. If the menu is in German, it's in French, it's in Spanish, it's in Chinese, it's in English and Italian, that is a guaranteed giveaway that it is a tourist trap. I will say that if it comes in Italian and English, that is pretty much standard in most cities that are catering to tourists, so I wouldn't let that scare you off. But if the menu has more than 2 languages on it, no. Number three is if you see special tourist menus being advertised outside of the restaurant. So this will typically have a sign and it will be like pizza plus tiramisu plus coffee plus wine, 10 euros. I mean, it sounds like a great deal in theory, but there's a reason why the cost is so low, because the quality matches the price. And number four, which I already touched on in the beginning of this video, is if there is a gentleman or woman standing outside of the restaurant saying, "Ciao bella, yeah, you want something to eat, you want something to drink, come on in." There is a reason that the restaurants that need people on the street to convince you to come eat at them use these sorts of sales tactics. Because if you were to look up the restaurant reviews on your own, you would see that they're typically pretty abysmal. So they get you by convincing you to come sit down before you've had a chance to look at the reviews on your phone. And then a large percentage of people, even if they check the reviews after they've sat down, feel obligated to stay and at least order something. I promise you that the best restaurants in Italy don't need people standing out front convincing them to come eat there. Now that you know exactly what to avoid when finding a restaurant on your trip to Italy, here's what you need to look out for. These are the green flags for finding a restaurant. Number one is if there are locals sitting there and they are speaking Italian. Unfortunately, not all Italians are always going to be picking the best restaurants because, for example, here in Rome, we also have a lot of domestic tourism, meaning that Italians from other regions come to Rome as well. And unfortunately, they can also fall prey to these tourist traps. So a second way that you can identify if a restaurant is legit or not is if they have a seasonal and local menu. Seasonal meaning that they're highlighting produce that is seasonal to the current time period you're in. So in Rome, we have carciofi season, so we have a season in which you eat artichokes, and then you wouldn't typically have things like prosciutto e melone in the winter because it's only really served in the summer at authentic restaurants. So if the menu has a few dishes on it that reflect both the season and the local delicacies, that's a good sign. Number three is if you are going to find a place for dinner and they are open during the hours between lunch service and dinner service, this is almost always a guaranteed way to find a place that is catering to tourists, because traditional Italian restaurants will typically close down between lunch and dinner. And in particular, in Rome and in southern parts of Italy as well, restaurants will not even open up for dinner service until 7:30 p.m. So if something is open at 5 p.m., there's a good chance tourist trap. Other things to definitely look out for when identifying a good spot from a bad spot in Italy is if they have handwritten menus, either on a piece of paper or on some sort of blackboard that's bolted to the wall, or that they will actually bring to your table. This means that they are updating the menu so frequently that they don't have printed out copies that they are keeping for months on end. This is a definite green flag. So now that you know what to avoid and what to look out for when you're finding restaurants on your trip to Italy, how can you do research and find the best spots for your trip? Number one, and I think that this is a really smart hack, is going to Google reviews and then filtering it to just reviews in Italian. Italians are brutally honest, and they are going to be upfront with you if they were impressed or disappointed by what they ate at that restaurant. You're also going to want to follow local creators. No shade to general travel creators, but typically they're using the same TikTok viral spots that you are. To find local hidden gem restaurants, follow local creators like me, so that you can get the best, most authentic spots for your trip. Which, by the way, if you're coming to Rome and you're looking for all of my restaurant recommendations in one place, I do have my ultimate guide to Rome. I will link it in the description below if you are interested. In general, you definitely want to step away from the main sites and attractions when you are looking for restaurants. Now, I fully support you sitting down and having a gorgeous Aperol Spritz looking at the Pantheon, but I don't suggest eating there. Instead, walk a couple of blocks away, which is where you will find restaurants where locals go. And when you are on your trip, be sure to ask the right people for their favorite recommendations. I would say to be a little bit weary of asking your hotel concierge or your Airbnb host, because sometimes they will get a small kickback, aka a commission, for sending their guests to certain restaurants, so you might not get the best recommendations from them. Instead, ask other locals that you interact with, like your tour guides or the barista who makes your morning cappuccino, where their favorite spots are in the city. Okay, so now you are ready to tackle going to the most authentic restaurants on your trip to Italy. If you are looking for more Italy tips just like this that don't suck, be sure to subscribe and like this video. See you in the next one. Ciao!